Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Critical Podcast. My name is Jimmy Good, and I'm your host. And joining me this week are my go-to podcast compadres, Mr. Joe Lever.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Jimmy. Levi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? How are you doing, Levi? Our other go-to podcast compadre.
Good.
Jimmy,
Very good.
Excited to be here. We all are so excited to be here. Welcome back, everyone who's been watching for a long time. And if you're new here, we like talking about everything in entertainment. And this week, well, we're just going to get right down to it. Levi saw...
the brass tacks.
Yep, that's true. The brass tacks. Levi saw a little film that neither Joe or I saw, but we have seen, in a sense, in the past. Levi saw Lion King. And
I know what happens. Spoiler alert, he dies. No.
It's Hamlet. Yeah, Simba dies. It's really sad. They made some changes. Levi, I don't know if we even need to like flip the spoiler switch here, because I don't know if there's anything in this movie that's very different than the animated version, unless there's something you need to tell us.
No, that's kind of a big part of the movie's flaws, is that there's nothing different. So.
Oh, okay. So
I hear they cut out a bunch of music.
Huh? There was one song that was different, yeah.
Okay.
We need to know what song that is.
Spirit?
Spirit, what?
It's like a... Hold on, I'm going to look this up. It's like Beyonce and Donald Glover.
Can you feel the love tonight?
Spirit? No, it's like after that when when Simba's on his way back to Pride Rock. They have like a different song.
They're not playing the do 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 do.
Who does Beyonce play in here?
Beyonce plays Nala. Yeah.
Lame.
No, she's very lifeless. Yeah. I mean, just starting from the beginning, this movie is like almost it's not a shot by shot by any means, but it's very, very, you'd think it should be, because the original movie is super tight. This movie just takes its time moving from scene to scene and kind of adding a lot of filler that's not really needed. Okay. I feel like that's the problem that they were going to have with, the photorealism. And
is it something that, like, with the faces that a lot of people are saying, because it's photorealistic, you can't have them be, like, more surprised, or they can't be, like, super sad? They can't emote the same way? Or does that still look really
nice? It's not like they hop up on two legs and go, whoa! Right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think there was anything really wrong with the CGI. The CGI actually looked really good, kind of on par with Jungle Book.
Yeah.
Amy and I saw Jungle Book together, and I feel like the big difference between this and Jungle Book is Jungle Book was very, very old, right? So they had a lot more liberties, or they could take them a lot more liberties. They could do some different things. Lion King was released 25 years ago, so it's actually pretty newer for Disney, right?
Is it 20? It might have been 20 years ago, something like that.
Yeah,
8 or 9. 8 or 9.
I thought I heard 25, but either way, for a Disney remake, it's actually pretty newer.
So I guess for me, what I want to know is, like, besides the CGI, because I feel like a lot of people have said that they're like, it looks really good. It's very, like, as accurate as it could be. Is there anything else in here, performance-wise, or just, like, set piece-wise, that you were like, wow, I really enjoyed that specific character or that specific moment?
I actually really enjoyed the child actors and actresses more than I liked, the older, more seasoned. Yeah, the kids actually sounded a lot better than, and they sounded more joyful and more, excited to be part of the film. But then you flash forward and you got Donald Glover and Beyonce, who are seasoned veterans, and they just sounded lifeless,
Hey, little fact. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead. What were you going to
say? The Lion King, original release date, June 15th, 1994. You want to know how much money it made at the box office?
I believe I was right. It also is the highest grossing film of that year, so a ton of money.
$968.5 million. Almost busted that $1 billion mark.
And that was 25 years ago.
Yeah, so inflation.
That's a lot of freaking money right there. Oh my God, Jiminy Christmas! And the funny thing still is that was Disney's B team. Like, everyone who was on the A team was on Pocahontas, and if you got moved to, like, work on Lion King, you're like, oh, you're going to the B team. Yeah, because they were like, Pocahontas is supposed to be like. They like to be this kind of, like, artsy, like, it's going to be like an Oscar nomination thing. And, like, Lion King was like, like, it's going to be fun. There's going to be lions and stuff. And then they released that first, like, 4-minute thing, The Circle of Life, kind of that intro. Because remember, like, in that movie,
Mhm.
I don't know how this is the same way with this one, how it opens, but that beginning feels kind of different than almost anything else in the movie. Like it almost feels like realistic, like the elephants and the birds and everything. It's like
Yeah.
Africa.
Sure.
Like,
It opens the exact same way, but lackluster.
okay. 'Cause
Like you don't like if you watch the beginning of the original Lion King, you feel it. You feel it like in your soul. Like it's like
Now that they're real, it just falls flat.
no. I mean the music's there. Rafiki looks fine. It's just not.
I wanted to get into that because is Rafiki still kind of crazy? Because I love crazy
He's
Rafiki.
scaled back. He's scaled back a bit, which sucks.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you seen a baboon at the zoo? They seem kind of crazy to me.
He scaled back a bit. They did scale back on some stuff, which was really dumb. And one of the biggest travesties is the song selections. So, Be Prepared is one of my favorite villain numbers out of all of Disney
It's so good.
movies. It's iconic, and this was stripped so hard, and it's a shame.
Like
Someday when you guys see it, you'll be like, "Wow, that fucking sucked." So,
yeah.
The voice actor that played Scar didn't do a bad job. I actually feel like he did pretty well. Scar himself looks really mangy. He didn't look that mangy in Lion King. I don't remember him.
Sure, like in the cartoon, he's got a little darker fur, black mane, but he's got a scar.
Yeah,
small scar, right?
And
so
now
it
they
wasn't
made him
like
look
it was a
like
big
a
turnoff.
flea-ridden kind of mangy cat. And
Well,
it's
that's
like
probably how a second lion would be in a pride if there were normally more than one male lion in a pride. So maybe that's what they're going for.
sure.
Or the outcast lion that's
yeah.
on his own is kind of a little more tattered looking.
Yeah, which is fine. He just the dude was fine. His song was cut short, and it was like the hyenas were still there and they were singing a little bit with him, but it was nothing on the grand scale of like the
So
original.
what was it like when these lifelike creations are singing a song?
Hyenas really pulled you out of the CGI effect, so their CGI was actually garbage. And they did not provide a comic relief like they did with the original hyenas, which were some of my favorite parts about
they were kind of like the Three Stooges.
Yeah, and they didn't do that at all. They tried making the hyenas overly serious, and they didn't have like a stupid one. In fact, like the dude that makes God, he's in so many skits. Key and Peele.
Yeah.
So he's one of the voice actors, and like they're funny. Like there's two of them that are funny, but not as funny as they could be. He just keeps telling them to stop standing so close to me, and that's just kind of it.
Okay.
I'm like, that's really what you guys could have got with this. Like this could have been hilarious, but
I need to know: did Timon dress in drag and do the hula?
No.
I understand that'd be hard to translate into a photorealistic film, but the fact that that's even a joke and that he says, "What do you want me to dress in drag and do the hula?" and then he does it, it's like,
is that really what he says? I don't remember that at all.
Yes.
Because would that go over now in today's PG world?
Well, it'd also be weird to be like, it's photorealistic animals, and then a meerkat's like, I'm going to dress and do a hula dance and try to distract people. Like, I guess it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
Was there any
I liked Mulan's trailer more than I liked anything about this movie.
I thought you were freaking out because Mushu wasn't going to be in it.
No, I forgave it after I saw the trailer.
You're like, no more CG. Yeah, see that Mulan trailer. And see, the thing about that is they hint to the music. If there isn't going to be the songs, it's like in the background. And then Jungle Book, they did like two of the songs, but then it was also kind of just like in the background more. Like this one, I feel like is so dependent on those songs being at the forefront.
Yeah.
Like, when he's singing I Just Can't Wait to Be King, was that a crazy number? Like, was it little...
It wasn't crazy, but it was because they're trying to escape from Zazu, which, by the way, John Oliver, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Horrible.
Was he bad?
He was bad. Yeah, he was bad.
Who's Zazu again? He's a toucan?
Yeah. So they are trying to. That part was a little cute because there's some baby animals that you get to see. But again, the number in itself falls short.
Okay. Did the hyenas get to sing?
Yeah, a tiny bit and Be Prepared.
They didn't get to do their other Broadway song, I guess. Is that?
I don't think so. What song was that?
It's called Chow Down. It's actually a
No.
really good little song, and I was kind of hoping they'd throw it in there, but of course
Nope,
they
cut
didn't.
that.
Why would they?
Which is funny. They kept some stuff from the Broadway musical, but didn't keep other things and like things that could have impacted it.
I forgot. Is there one where they introduce the hyenas and they're like playing in the bones or something like that?
Yeah. They
It's
don't
not
do that.
it's not a song so much. Like, you mean in the play, Joe, or in
No,
like
in the
movie?
cartoon, the original movie, was there some moment where they're in like the wastelands?
They are when they sneak into the elephant graveyard and then they run into them because he's like, I laugh in the face of danger, ha 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 ha, and then they just hear like the laughs of the creepy hyenas like come out of the elephant's skull, and you're like, whoa!
Which this time was all done in a cave. They're still in the elephant graveyard, but they're like in a cave in the elephant graveyard.
Mufasa scary when he shows up? Because I remember as a kid being like, whoa, Mufasa's not someone to be trifled with, because he like rolls in and he backs them around. Like,
no, it wasn't like any dramatic thing.
Was he good? Was Mufasa still good? Like, is James Earl Jones still got it?
Yeah, he was fine. I mean, he was actually the most probably consistent out of any of them. So
that guy's got a weird career in that, like between that and Vader, they like Disney called him back. They're like, hey, we know you did this role like 20 or 30 years ago. Do you want to like come back and do it again? It's just like,
hey, he's still alive, let him do it, you know.
But it's like they didn't call Rowan Atkinson to be Zazu again, who I thought was so good.
There is something, well, for Vader, I mean, it's gotta be
that voice,
like it has to be. But
well, do you
his
think
voice is so iconic.
The whole original voice cast?
I don't know, because people didn't want Matthew Broderick back as Simba. He plays Ferris Bueller, Inspector Gadget.
What's wrong with him? Well, he couldn't have been a young Simba. He could have been an old Simba.
Exactly, he played old Simba.
Why couldn't he do that again?
Because people didn't like him, and they also wanted to make it, I think, a more diverse cast. Because the first time around, it wasn't
Donald Glover though. Like,
yeah, I don't think that was a good Simba cast.
I like Donald Glover. Okay, like, I like his rap music. I like him in Community. I like him in, what he's been through in Star Wars and Spider-Man. But he's flat though. Like he's kind of a flat actor to me, and
must have kind a good agent.
Kind of the same thing as like Lando. Like,
yeah, that was
didn't really bring a lot of life to the character.
Yeah, that's too bad. Well, and they got Beyonce, and I think it was a lot of like star power, because when you watch those trailers, like half of it is just the names. They're just like, look who's in this movie, and you're like,
almost like they did with Jungle Book, just a little bit like ScarJo.
Yeah, they needed. The problem with that one is there's like no female roles in Jungle Book, so they're like, Ka's a woman now. Like, like, okay, it's a sexy thing. Sexy.
I think one of the biggest letdowns too is, to me, Can You Feel the Love Tonight is supposed to be super romantic and like in the dark, and like it's supposed to be cute and like they're swimming. None of that. Like, there's fireflies, and literally like it's a very stripped down version of the song, and then she leaves. It's like, the fuck? Like,
okay, that sounds.
They go for the real version, and they don't even show the sex scene. What?
Oh my god! Yeah.
And it's not even in the dark. It's like at dusk, and it's like there's still light out. And it's like, what? This is supposed to be like in the dark, and the fireflies are supposed to be beautiful, like Avatar, and they're supposed to be in the water and dipping, and it's like,
okay,
motherfucker.
I need to know the two biggest set pieces. How was the wildebeest stampede? Was that well done? Because I would imagine if anything in the movie, that would look cool, because you'd be like, oh, this seems very realistic.
That was well done. Although it's kind of sucked, because when Mufasa's trying to like get up, that like he's going to a part that like it would be hard for him to get up, and like it looks like he did that on purpose. So it looks like, because in the original one, he's bouncing, and then he like gets to the cliff, and then finally Scar, gets to him. But he's like going up this weird cliff, and then Scar shows up, and then Scar, like, it's very like lackluster. Scar like puts his claws in, and then like just does it right away.
Well, he doesn't say "Long live the king."
He does, but like he's like cat scratch, long live the king, throws him, and it's like they didn't take the dramatic pause. Then like he should have whispered it. Like he should have like got in real close.
Yeah, it should have been a long live the king.
Yeah, it was
the best part. It's so good.
Grabs him, is like, long live the king, throws him. And it's like, what?
Oh man. And he's like the one Disney villain to get like a real strong confirmed kill. Like,
does he yell out something like or Mufasa, does he say something like, brother, help me? Does he even yell out? Or
oh yeah, he does have that moment too. You're right.
I don't remember.
Oh, I love that because he does kind of, if I remember correctly in the original, you just see him like Simba's looking for him, and then Mufasa just jumps out and tries to grab onto whatever he can, and then he sees Scar, he's like, brother, help me, and then he's just kind of like just staring at him like,
yeah,
you suck, dude.
Yeah, the female lead hyena really sucked.
A female lead hyena, really?
Yeah, no Whoopi Goldberg this time around, I guess.
Is that who it was originally?
It was Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't remember.
Yeah, this one sucked.
They had a good cast back in the day, except I will say that I know a lot of people didn't like I said, Simba, Matthew Broderick. He's fine. I like Jonathan Taylor Thomas as the kid Simba. He was great.
I gotta admit, bro. So this is like my favorite cartoon growing up as a kid, but I haven't watched it since I was like maybe 7. But up until that point, I watched that freaking movie until the video. What did they call those again?
Yeah,
VHS. I watched it until the damn film burnt up and wore out. But I totally remember the hyenas all being boys.
Yeah.
Nope. They're two. One boy, one girl, and then a dumb boy, Ed, who's all like, and they just like he's a dummy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember the part where Scar gives them like a piece of zebra meat, but it's like green, and he's just like, he does that. Like he gives it.
Yeah, when he's laying up on the rock and just kind of lazily throws it to him.
I like that whole sequence. There's like a volcano that they have to avoid.
Which in real life, a group of hyenas like that would really be a problem for one lion. I don't care if it's a big male or not.
Yeah,
I was watching National Geographic, and this one lone lion was roaming around. It was 2 brothers, in fact, but the one was separated. And it ran into a pack of hyenas trying to get some food. Those hyenas started nipping it to shreds. Like, it was bleeding good until the other lion showed up and it evened out the playing field a bit, but they probably would have killed him.
Oh yeah, hyenas I'm not to be trifled with.
And they're not a canine. They're actually something totally different. They're not a cat or a dog. They're something. They're their own like path on the tree somewhere.
Whoa.
They're very interesting. And there's something like they can change their own sex or something like that.
Oh, I feel like I've heard that before too. So so it's like a hermaphroditic or something like that.
Yeah, they're a very cool animal. Wow,
yeah, they're fascinating.
We're really going off a path.
The more you know.
Interesting, fun tidbit for the audience.
It leads it into the next thing is the biggest piece besides that one is the lions versus the hyenas at the finale. Like, Levi, for you, I remember seeing that in the trailer just briefly of like kind of them colliding like that. Was that moment at the very end pretty cool? Did they do that pretty well? Like with all of them fighting each other?
Very lackluster. The only cool part about that is Rafiki does get his staff. But like,
okay, good. I was gonna be like, come on, man.
He doesn't have his staff at the beginning. He like pulls it out of like an old chest. It's
they're like, it's photorealistic and very realistic until Rafiki's like the baboon's like, yes, the chest I made so many years ago.
Yeah, it's like he retrieves it as like a loot item later.
You've been awarded 2,500 XP. You now get a loot item.
I would give the movie a 10 out of 10 if he pulled out like a double barrel shotgun. And he's just like, yeah.
And you know, the gun tonight. No.
So you say it was lackluster. So he got to fight. Was the Scar Simba fight okay? Because I remember that being like funny slow motion in the past. It was like, but it was like very accurate to how lions do fight.
Yeah. It was fine, but like, did Simba kill Scar, or did like Scar fall by himself?
He falls, and then the hyenas are like, "Hey, we heard what you said, dude."
Yeah.
Like,
so the same thing happens, but like Scar like
pounces. The hyenas turn on him.
Scar like pounces and then just like bounces off of Simba and then flies off the cliff.
Oh, Simba's supposed to kick him. Are you sure he didn't do the kick thing? Because Simba does the whole
kick. He bounces off of him, and it's like he missed him, and then he fell.
But Simba in the end is like a big brooding bastard. Like, he's a big old tank, right?
Yeah.
Is he like outranking Mufasa a bit? Or,
but like with Donald Glover voice, it's hard to take him seriously.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, do they do the whole drought thing? Is that like why there's like civil unrest? Is it like because the Pride Lands have like fallen into?
Yeah, they don't really explain it. They're just like, "Oh, Scar's fucked it up." And, like, they get back and like Pride Rock is just all screwed because they've eaten everything, but they don't tell you why. They don't tell you, like, so kids would be like, "What happened?" You know? Just
well,
as
I
he was
want to
going.
keep it PG. Well, really what happened is everybody was hungry, so they killed all the other animals here. They all died in a very brutal way.
And
Watch
ruined the
National
ecosystem,
Geographic
yeah.
sometime.
Good. That sounds great. Okay, I feel like we've only said bad things about this movie. Is there anything, like I said, besides the
Hold
look
on,
of it?
Jimmy. Hold on. We'll get to the good stuff. There might be a good nugget in there somewhere or another, but we'll get to that at the end.
Okay.
Timon and Pumbaa. Give us
Timon
the
and
rundown.
Pumbaa, yes.
Do that. Yeah. Thank you.
Actually, Timon and Pumbaa were probably one of the best parts of the movie.
Wow.
I'm sorry to say, like, listen, make fun of Seth Rogen all you want. I did too. You know it's Seth Rogen, but he's a charming Pumbaa. Okay,
Okay.
it's
I don't doubt
funny.
that.
Yeah, there's a lot of fart jokes, which is fine, but it's like, kind of gets old. But it's funny. Yeah, they do a good job. They're a funny little comedic duo. So
Okay.
And it's not too overly done to where you're kind of like, wow, this is even
no,
more of a
it's
joke
very
than it
cute
should be.
actually. Like they're like a good little team.
I think the guy Billy Eichner plays the voice of Timon, and he's
Yeah.
somebody who grates on me because he was in a bunch of sitcoms a few years ago, and he always plays the same guy who's just like this super duper loud, obnoxious guy. And I always kind of like Timon, Nathan Lane's version, where he's kind of like New York, like he's kind of a swindler, but he's not a bad guy. He's just like trying to live his life,
Sure.
you know.
But he's got kind of that like, he's got that kind of like squeaky mobster vibe. Or
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
was it Jimmy Tight Lips or Johnny the Snitch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not better than the original by any means, but they saved like a good portion of the middle of the film leading into the final act.
Was Hakuna Matata well done?
Yeah, Hakuna Matata was actually well done. I'll give it props.
They have to hit that one on the head.
Yeah,
otherwise they're
that
that
done.
was
one
like
was
the
actually
one.
done pretty well.
I feel like the problem with this movie is there's like 3 or 4 songs that are like the iconic song. Like you could ask someone would be like Hakuna Matata, someone would say Circle of Life, or someone would say Can You Feel the Love Tonight, or someone would say Be Prepared. Like all the songs are like they have to get it right, you know. So like they get even one wrong, like Be Prepared, it's like screwed it up. Like you had all the money. Like what
I
happened?
wonder if you guys can watch. I wonder if you can watch Be Prepared on anything. Let's see.
Probably not.
Jimmy, you should be looking up. Can you look up what this movie made?
Yeah, I can look it up.
Was this? It was opening weekend, not this past, but the weekend before.
Oh,
Right? So it's
is
had
it
2
all
weekends
on here? Hold up.
So do you guys want to take a guess here? I'll tell you what. The budget is unknown.
I'd be willing to bet that we're already in the 200, 300 million range.
Very good, Joe. Right.
Watch this. Hold on. I'm sending this to you.
Opening weekend for the United States and I should say North America, 191. So far, it has grossed 361 domestically, foreign 638, putting it just shy of $1 billion worldwide right now. So clearly, it has legs.
It's doing just fine.
It's doing just.
I do not know how this shitty cam version did not get taken down right away, but I just sent this to you guys on Facebook. We can legit watch it right now.
I'm watching it.
And it's, yeah.
Okay, like, I get it. We're in Mordor. I'm just kidding. That's fine. I get, like, Chronicles of Narnia vibes.
Off of here already. That's crazy.
Okay, I'm just going to skip through it.
Yeah, just skip through to, like, the middle.
I can see what they're doing here to make it, like, you know, a little more, like, toned down and realistic. So I can respect that portion of it, you know? I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not standoutish, but I get it because they didn't want to do the whole like volcano and like he's rising up on like a stone pillar and the Nazi symbolism. I think they were like, we're taking all that out of here. Like, just cut it out. We're not going to talk about it.
It just sucks how it could have been a really cool number.
Well, like you think of the Disney villain songs, which have always usually been like some of my favorites too, but they're like usually so big and bombastic and sinister. And I don't know, I guess it just seems so tame, you know, by comparison to the other ones. And that was like, I think the one moment in the movie that made Scar feel like he was almost like pseudo magical. Like he's just like, he's threatening everybody and he's just like, there's smoke and he's everywhere and the lights coming off and the green, the red, and like the hyenas are just like completely enthralled and terrified with this guy because he's like jumping perfectly everywhere. There's smoke coming out. It's like, but now that's kind of gone. And I see why they did it. Like, it's like, I get it. I don't know. Not perfect, but yeah, I guess that's the thing is like our expectation of what we loved in the past, especially in an animated version. It's like they can't meet that, you know, but clearly, like I said, the movie's doing super duper well. I'm guessing in China, China, well, actually China, not so much. China only 114 million so far. I'm kind of surprised with that. Huh. I thought China was going to be, China's usually the one that has like the most, but I mean, that's still the most out of any of these other ones.
Something about this movie that, you know, they were probably thinking about is they still had to appeal to the young audience like they did with the original cartoon.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah, but like
they had to
nobody
establish
for-
that, but they also still had to give the nod to the audience like us that grew up with the original and wanted to see this kind of remastered realism. And I don't
My
think they
problem
can
is
please
like, it
both.
literally is a planet Earth with Disney songs.
Sure. I gotta admit the cinematography, I love the vibe, like that Be Prepared scene, like that is pretty, I mean, it's pretty beautiful. It's neat and appropriate. But yeah, not having seen the whole movie, I can't speak to all of it, obviously. But
And I think as much as we want to say like all these are cash grabs, which just for everyone to understand, all entertainment things are typically a cash grab if at this level. Like all these Marvel movies, I love them, but I know they're cash grabs. But I think it's just like we think it's just so easy for them to be like, let's just remake Lion King.
I can forgive those though because they have heart.
I know, but I'm saying that like it's like Joe was saying though, this is like a double-edged sword where like you're like this is a proven formula for success, but if we do it too much or do it incorrectly, we're gonna get a ton of backlash for it.
Today's young audience is not what our days young audience was.
Yeah.
We were different at that time. The kids these days that are the age that we were when we saw the original, those kids have grown up with technology that's way, I mean, they get entertainment fed to them by a silver spoon constantly without even trying. As you know, for us, this was it. This was like the thing. And if we got a chance to watch it on TV, it was like bonkers, right? Now it's like, yeah, I watched a cool cartoon on my iPad before I went to the movie. It was almost as good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, and with you kind of lose some of the heart you get from the old cartoon, like the animated versions, because there's just something about like knowing that like they were really drawing out every single frame. Like you can see it in like every movement of the face and stuff. You're just like, oh my god, it's so good.
Sure.
Not that CG artists aren't good and they're not talented. It's just I don't know. It loses some of the charm, I think, and that's just going to be inherent with all of these things. Like Beauty and the Beast the same way. It's like I didn't like how the Beast looked, but they tried to make it like pseudo kind of what this weird kind of bear gargoyle lion creature would look like. But the animated version is like one of the coolest designs of anything I've ever seen. I'm like, that is amazing. Like, oh, it's so good.
You know, we were kind of getting down on the whole Seth Rogen as Pumbaa deal, but from the start, I don't think that was a bad move. Like, in all honesty, if I think who could play Pumbaa today, boom, he kind of hits me in the face a little bit. Granted, you don't always take him with much seriousness because he's been in movies like that North Korean one, and he's always in those kind of spoofy movies. And when you see Seth Rogen in a film, you kind of say, "Oh, it's Seth Rogen." Like you don't know him by his character's name. It's like, "Oh, it's Seth, just being Seth."
Yeah. Do you think James Franco was busy? He couldn't play Timon.
Maybe, I don't know.
Jack Black would have been a good Timon too. I was just thinking about that from like Jumanji.
That's
like
true.
He would have been a good Timon. But you're right with Pumbaa. I don't know. Pumbaa's a weird one to cast, so maybe that wasn't a bad.
I think he kind of fits the bill, and I wasn't really concerned about him playing that role from the get go. I'm sure when I do watch this movie, and I probably will, I think I'll feel the same. But you know, I mean, he's quirky and funny, and he's not really all that intelligent. I mean, I think he'll play that role well. Not that Seth Rogen's a dumbass. I actually think Seth Rogen's fairly learned and not an idiot. But,
I think it just comes off that way.
Yeah, I mean, he plays a role. He plays, you know, he finds a niche and he plays it, and that's how he got to the spot that he is. And I mean, I saw him speaking to Congress one time on something. I forget what it was for some disease awareness.
He's like Jonah Hill. They're very smart guys. Like they know what they're doing. You know, Ashton Kutcher. They can do comedy very well, but they're
Yeah.
They're pretty smart guys, you know.
Yeah.
So, Levi, what was your favorite thing about this movie?
God, the snacks, the popcorn was super good.
He was thinking of that one. He knew you were going to ask it.
Yeah, I really liked the popcorn, and I really liked the gummy bears I got.
The credit scene, I love that.
The Mulan trailer was awesome.
See, I told you that was good. It's a good trailer. It gives me goosebumps.
Wait,
like,
was there a post-credit scene setting it up for a sequel?
I was gonna say, or it's like a shared like universe where like Beast comes in and he's like, Simba, we have to go back to France, and you're like,
oh boy, yeah, no, yeah.
Because riddle me this, I didn't even know that there was a Lion King 2.
Oh yeah, dude, that's is it Simba's Pride? So
sure, I never knew.
It's got a really good song called Inupendi, because get this, Simba has a daughter, but then you find out that Scar had his own like illegitimate family or something of other lions, which seems kind of weird to me. Or they were like part of the group while Scar was in power. So Scar has a kid named Kovu, and it's a very Romeo and Juliet, like they fall in love, but like Simba hates like that group of lions, and that group of lions hates Simba, and they fall in love, and they have to like figure out how to like work together. It's actually not that bad. Check it out.
I don't doubt it. I just,
1.5 is the skip.
Was it a direct-to-movie?
Direct to DVD, yeah, or direct to VHS, and then Lion King 1.5 was also direct to DVD.
Why did they call it Lion King 1.5?
1.5 talks about Timon's backstory and then his story during Lion King, and then like a little bit maybe after too, like about his family and stuff. I don't know. It's very Emperor's New Groove because like in the background you'll see like Simba singing like oh, I just can't wait to be king, and Timon's like, what's going on over there? Like there's like a bunch of colors and like it's crazy stuff in the background. He's like, I don't know what that is.
The third wall.
Oh yeah, they're like in a movie theater watching it or something.
That's
like
funny,
it's
though.
very like it's supposed to be like a slapstick, like it just don't take it seriously, like Deadpool-esque type of movie. So
not the worst then.
Yeah, they could be worse. It could be worse.
Okay. So wow, you really didn't enjoy this.
Yeah,
I mean, you had to appreciate some aspects of it.
I mean, yeah, I liked the CGI. It was cool. It was entertaining for the most part. It wasn't a horrible movie. I know I'm dogging on it a lot, but I just didn't like that the missteps they had were impactful on the experience.
We're gonna need a score because that's how we judge things. We love our numbers.
I want a temperature reading. None of the 0 to 10 bullcrap.
4 out of 10.
So 40
degrees. I think that translates to. Yeah.
4 out of 10 seems pretty freaking low.
That's pretty freaking low.
Yeah, I wouldn't give it a 5 out of 10. No.
Wow. So it wasn't even halfsies good. It was like if you're desperate for something to do, you might go see this on a Tuesday matinee.
Yeah. I mean, it was fine. It was just fine. I would not watch it again.
That's chilly.
Okay, so you should watch a bad rip of it from somebody's camera phone on some back dark website.
On some back road.
Some back dark website.
You gotta meet the guy. He's from Craigslist. You gotta meet him down some dark alley back road thing in the back 40, and you're gonna sit over his shoulder and watch the movie on his cell phone.
Just go out there. So you got the goods.
I brought it. Show me the cash.
The dude's got his like Craigslist camper, and you have to watch it from outside looking in. Like,
and you're like, hey, I can't really hear super well. Can I get subtitles? Like, subtitles, that's going to cost you extra. You didn't say anything about subtitles. Hey, are you a cop? You got to tell me if you're a cop.
How'd you know I had the access?
People have to see it, and then we'll have to talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll see it in theaters. It might be like a Tuesday thing, and it'll be on Disney. I think it's going to open with Disney Plus. It's one of those
ones. Yeah, no doubt.
Disflix, that and Frozen 2 are both going to be like day one, I think they said, for that, because they want people to be like, oh crap, we saw that a while ago. I want to watch it again, and just I'll pay $7 to watch it right now. So, yeah. Well, Levi, thank you for that kind of thorough review there. I want to know if anybody watching this or listening to this has actually seen Lion King, and let us know what you think about it. Or if you're like Joe and myself and you haven't seen it and you're kind of on the fence, because a lot of the Legionnaires I talked to said they're like, yeah, I don't want to see that atrocity, or they're like, I'm not really interested. And I was like, oh my God, there's like a lot of just like animosity towards this existing, which is kind of sad because I liked Jungle Book and I thought Jon Favreau did a good job. and I think he's the perfect person to direct
Sure.
this. So I'm just excited for him to do live action Robin Hood, anthropomorphic foxes, because that's just the next step, baby. He's just gonna be like a fox shooting a bow and arrow. I don't know how you do it, but I will pay to see it. So Levi, thank you. That was very good. I think we're gonna move into that next segment of the show, though. Kind of start to wind down.
Be prepared to be let down. Sorry.
We're calling Time Killers. Yeah, that's right. I'm just.
Oh, that's my line. Time Killers.
That's right. It's time for the games we're playing, movies we're watching, TV shows we've been viewing. Levi, do you want to just wrap up talking? Like you saw Lion King. What else have you been doing? To kill
Playing
time?
Monster Hunter a little bit.
When?
Oh,
When? I'm playing.
without
I don't
us?
think. No, he
I
lies.
pick up my Xbox. I'll play on Monster Hunter.
He has not been playing. He won the training area for like a half hour, like a week ago, and
I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready.
he's
to get
not
back
hunting.
to it.
You're not hunting anything.
Listen, I don't have a lot of time to kill, so out of the time that I have killed, played some Marvel Alliance with Jimmy. And watching Naruto.
Okay,
Pretty much it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Joe, how about you, man? What have you been killing time with?
I think we got a couple that we share. We'll get into that in a second. I've dabbled in some Monster Hunter. Actually, this is the third one we share. I play with you and Leo. That game is still freaking good.
I'm gonna play the hunting horn, okay? God damn it.
I experienced something in that game last night that I've never experienced before, and that just goes to show that game still has a few surprises.
What was it? Lay it on me.
Did a full hunt of Kulva Taroth, the gold thing.
Really?
And we joined a session with like-minded hunters where you can do up to 16 hunters doing it, but you have to go out in 4-person groups and you have to like hunt it multiple times. That fight gets crazy, and the rewards for it are equally insane. It was like, I finally beat it at like 1:15 last night, and I was like,
what?
You don't kill it, you knock off its horns, and then it's like friggin' peace, and then it just like runs into like magma and leaves. But like, you unlock a ton of randomized melded weapons. So I got like 15 new weapons, just like weapons. They're like, here you go. And I was like
some semi-powerful weapons.
I think you can juice them up, but yeah, I think they're I was looking at them like, whoa. I had like multiple katanas that were like 2 katanas that were each different. Like one was like lightning and one had like a hidden element of paralysis, and they looked different. And I was like,
oh, that is
like
awesome.
It's all gold stuff. I was like,
but there's also armor for him, right?
oh yeah, there's that too, which I can make with the materials, but I didn't get into that. I was just happy to beat it
If
last
I
night.
remember, the Kulvtaroth armor's kind of, it doesn't do much for me.
Okay, but yeah, anyway, so I was just doing that last night. It would be fun to do with you guys because it's back right now because they're doing their spring. They're doing like all past events and like the spring. They're calling it like the spring blossom like event. And I'm like, it's like middle of summer, guys, but like we're gonna
not in Japan.
spring.
It's not. Oh.
But isn't it? Yeah, it is.
I don't know.
What kind of armor set are you going for right now?
What?
What kind of armor set are you going for right now?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh.
What are you building right now?
I don't have anything in particular. But in all honesty, I want to start using the hunting sword and shield a little more.
Okay.
I'd like to hunt some Nergigante, to be honest.
Oh, now you're playing my song.
Yeah, because I want to complete the armor set. I still don't have the legs or the greaves, I think. Yes, there's a couple pieces I still need there. I only have the chest, helmet, and the belt. But between completing that armor set and then the Nergigante hunting sword, that's about it. That's at the top of my list. There are other things, like we hunted that double tempered or orange. What do they call that?
Arc tempered, I think.
Yeah, so we hunted Kushladora, whatever.
Yeah.
Hunted
Wind
that.
Dragon.
Yeah, a couple times I think, and we were trying to get I wanted some parts from that because I got a couple weapons I want to max out that are ice. But really, what I really need in that game is I need something that's thunder besides the gun lance. Which, by the way, going back to that gun lance when we were hunting Kushala, I was starting to learn some better moves with it, even beyond what I was capable of before, like some more aerial attacks with it. I was like, man, I'm feeling this thing. This thing is actually badass. And the fact that you can tank some shots is pretty cool. I learned pretty quickly there's that double win thing that he was doing. If I take that direct and I even have a tick of health gone, that'll drop me.
Yeah, that was
it's weird. Very
hard
finicky.
fight.
But for the most part, I can tank anything as long as I'm prepared for it, which is somewhat easy. But I need better thunder weapons. There aren't a lot that are very appealing, like that gun lance from what's that creature called again?
Toby Kadachi.
Yeah,
Yes.
That gun lance that I have from that one. It's cool, but it's slightly kind of. I want something more badass and toothy looking,
Sure. Yeah, I get that.
But, yeah. No, it would obviously be awesome to be able to slay the behemoth and get the armor set, and that Kinsek glaive that you have from it, oh my god.
I've been using that, and I used it to take down that Kulva Taroth thing, even though it wasn't like super great on it. I just have fallen in love with that thing. The true Gaybolg is just oh baby, it's good for every occasion. You know what I mean? It's just like I'm bringing the best dish to a potluck every time, and people are like, I'm glad you brought it.
I mean, 9 times out of 10, I'm always using my Nergigante maxed out Kinsek glaive. I mean, it's dragon, but for the most part, dragon's either 2-star or above on a lot of these guys. So.
Yeah, and also I love the little mini game of like trying to get the various like buffs, and it's really fun to and to find a way. So like I'll get the red buff, and then maybe like the orange or yellow buff, and then I'll wait till the red buff's about to go away, and then if you get like the white buff, and to do the big the one that just buffs everything, that resets like the red buff. So then you have that max that damage, and then the more animation.
It all depends on what, because I use it a lot. It all depends on what area of the monster you hit. Sometimes I'm always confused on what one gives me the white one.
It's different on most of them.
It's the legs, sometimes it's the wings, and sometimes I can't figure it out, or I feel like I'm hitting the right spot, but it's like slightly off.
Sometimes you get the green one too, which is just like a little bit of health, and you're like, okay, that's nice, but I didn't want that. But
it's helpful. Like, I don't feel like it's super effective, but it would be helpful. Like if I'm halfway there and I see I got it, I call that back. I forget if there's a way to call the Kinsek back without sheathing your weapon.
You can hit left trigger and B, and then he just he'll spin it around and you'll hold it behind him, and then it'll come back to you.
That's the move that I always forget, and I'd like to be able to do that more often.
I love it. I just love flying around with it. It just shows the game in a different way. And I was like, this is a complex weapon, and I really enjoy it.
Being prepared to use it and have your stamina maxed out and have like a wiggly litchi or an energy drink helps, and if you're prepared for that. Yeah. Something that I've hit that's screwing me up is I can't create certain things. Like I can't plant and cultivate certain things that I need. It kind of stresses me out. But But that's why I have friends. I can gift it to me up in the gathering hub.
Here you go.
Yeah. No, we'll have to hop back in. In fact, this past weekend, I was hoping to play some with you guys. It just didn't materialize, but we'll have to. Oh. Yeah. Levi, get you in there, man. That hunting horn.
Yeah.
That hunting horn. Joe, besides
I've tried it. It's so hard.
It's tricky. It's okay. The best weapons always are, right? Besides Monster Hunter, what else have you been killing time with?
Yeah, sorry, a bit of a rabbit hole on that one. We love that game.
That's fine. Yeah, exactly. I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah. What did we watch, not most recently, but a while back, and I'm ashamed to admit it?
Wine Country.
Yeah. You see a bunch of SNL cast members, you're like, this has to be funny, right? I don't care if it's a bunch of girls.
Not that matters to me.
It doesn't matter to me either. I can appreciate it. Like you said, a bunch of SNL cast members, they're all reputable in their own right.
Yeah.
I figured entertaining. This will be funny. Whether it's a chick flick or not, it'll be funny. And we were just looking for something to chill with. It was late. Oh, my God. 5 minutes in, I'm like, okay, something's got to happen that's got to make this funny. 20 minutes later, I don't get is there a plot here? I don't get it. What are they doing?
Yeah,
these people are just hanging out and getting drunk and complaining about shit.
I think that's, first off, I guess I try to remember this sometimes too. Not that it always has to meet like just the target demo or the target demographic, I should say. But I feel like this one specifically was like, there is a group of people who will find this hilarious. And if you aren't part of that group, you will not find it funny. Like if you're not watching it with a bunch of friends who all love wine and be like, oh my God, that's totally us. Like, because that's what this movie is. But it's like middle-aged, like 50-year-old women and up, because like that's like that's who all of them are. And a lot of the jokes were just like a joke about wine, or like, hey, isn't it funny that Rachel Dratch is like swearing a lot, or like it's
the
like
only funny part that I found in that whole thing. Excuse me. The only funny part I found in the whole thing was the bus driver or the cook, and ish, or when the lady with the knee replacements goes pole vaulting down the damn sidewalk.
Okay, yeah, like that's
cartwheels.
Sure,
I was like, yeah, give me a little bit more of that.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, but then the only other part was when they're tasting the wine, and the winery guy's like, okay, so there are no wrong answers. What do you taste? Tell me, what do you think's in here? Grapes?
Yeah.
I mean, that was about it. And there was no plot. It was literally just them complaining about midlife women crises.
Well, yeah, and it was like, it tried to be heartfelt, where there was like one of the group who feels like Anna Gasteyer. She was like, she always felt like she was the black sheep and she was never invited to things. And they're like, that's because you're always on your phone or you're doing other things in life and you don't really care about us.
You're too busy.
Yeah, and it's like they didn't get to a moment. Like we did kind of skip the last couple of minutes because it was so like there was nothing. They were into the denouement, and it was just like
I
it was like over.
Felt like I was wasting my life.
Yeah, it was hard, and I was like, we got to that point though, but like there wasn't like a moment where they all connected, because there was this moment where like Amy Poehler's like yelling at all of them and be like, "I lost my job," and spoilers, I don't care about this movie, but like I lost my job, and see right there, that was funnier than the whole movie, but. She lost her job, and like it was like the lie revealed, like in Wedding Crashers, where it was just like, hey, like the friends aren't friends anymore, but like that moment happens and it's like immediately resolved. Like they're like, hey, that's not a problem, and they're still like all hanging out and they're all still friends, they're all on this trip together. It's like they're like nothing happens. They just like go around,
no plot, no like overcoming anything.
Like
that was the biggest part.
Each other's backs at different wineries. They're like, hey, isn't it funny that such and such wants to be like such on a schedule? And they're like, yeah, that is really funny. And they're like, oh man, we're not supposed to be walking in the vineyard. And it's just like,
it's an organic vineyard, so I will ask you, you can go anywhere you'd like, you just cannot walk in the vineyard itself because it's organic. Screw that bitch, I'm walking out here. So what about Tracy? She is so and then the lady shows up, you can't be walking here. Oh god, this bitch, that's how they act. And it's just like, okay, it's not even funny, this is just freaking stupid.
And there's like the subplot where like one of them like falls for this like waitress, and they go to see her art show, and then they like give the art show like a lot of crap, but it's not really funny. And there's like this weird like will they won't they get together thing, and it's like what? Like
for a second she's like, I think I know what you're gonna ask. I'll give it to you for half cost or something.
Yeah.
And she was talking about the painting. It's just like, okay.
And that lady, I will like, she was basically like the Rebel Wilson of the group. She's like the big, like fat kind of dumb one. Like, and it's not like, but that's like her character is supposed to be that. Like, I'm sorry, but it's just like, it's like in the Cats trailer, there's like two characters whose personalities they're fat. And that's the joke. He's like, but like, I'm just so sick of that. Like, that's an archetype for a character to be like that. It's just like, you're so much more than just like your weight, and you have to be like the weight, like the funny one. But when everyone tries to be the funny one, no one's the funny one. Like none of them were funny. It was like a depressing movie. They're like, ugh, yeah, it's not. It's a waste of time. I'm sorry,
I don't even know. Like I think, okay, well, my mom's not 50 anymore, but I mean, you know, she would kill me for saying her age. This is a bad example.
Good.
I'm just trying to picture some woman that I know in her 50s that would watch this and appreciate it.
And I think it'd be in a group. I think it'd be a group of women who've traveled together and found that, or maybe a group of guys who've traveled together. I don't know. It just like usually I could find something funny in a movie like this, but there was nothing. It was just like devoid.
It's literally like these people knew each other and were friends and went on vacation, and this is what happened, and you're just a fly on the wall, and you're just like, yeah, that was pretty freaking lame.
Yeah, but again, everybody I've talked to, like who's seen it, and that falls into that maybe that target demo. Not necessarily you have to be 50 and up, because there's plenty of young women who've watched it too and thought it was great. I was like, you really thought that was really funny? Like,
and you question everything you know about.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, like I think back to like other ones that were like Tina Fey, and Tina Fey's in it, but she plays like this weird like
she was kind of
B&B owner. Yeah,
she had a couple lines, but
like I think back to like her best stuff, and I think it was like Mean Girls, and I'm like, now there's a movie that's really funny, but it's trying to say something. Like this movie just had nothing to say or to show. It was like, whatever, man. It's like if you went and watched
at like medium speed snail's pace. Like
What
he
if
was
you
a
watched
fast snail.
like The Hobbit and they never left Hobbiton and they just walked around from house to house and then they talked bad about each other behind each other's backs? I'd be like, that is nothing. It's
Probably
nothing.
the better Hobbit movie, to be
Yeah,
honest.
for sure. I set that joke up. Besides Wine Country, we did watch The Highwaymen though the other night, which was markedly better.
By the way, I'm embarrassed we spent that much time on.
Well, we did spend a lot of it just like ripping it apart, so I think that was fun.
This is. You got to put your patient hat on, right? Patience hat on. You have to have a patient mentality going in. It is. So we learn later on. I didn't really know the story of how. Okay, so this is a story of how these two Texas Rangers were implemented by a governor in Texas, in Dallas or whatnot, or Austin, and because Austin is the capital of Texas, I just put that together. Right? Yeah.
Sure.
Right?
I'll look it up. Keep going.
Siri, what's the capital of Texas?
Austin is the capital.
Boom. Got it. Anywho, so the female governor at the time says to one of her staff members or something, I'll allow you to reinstate these Texas Rangers to get after them. Boom. So these two Texas Rangers get the warrant to do what they got to do within the state lines, which doesn't really happen. They go beyond their jurisdiction a little bit. But they reinstate them to track down, Bonnie and Clyde. So I feel like some people, like maybe teenagers who aren't familiar with history, like at one point I probably thought it was a made up thing, like an old Western tale. But no, Bonnie and Clyde were real. They were going to banks, robbing banks, kind of like stealing from the rich and giving to the poor a little bit. But they were cold-hearted killers, cold-blooded killers, whatever, mass murderers essentially.
Yeah,
but the public, because at the time, fresh out of the Great Depression, were basically putting them on a pedestal and worshiping them. Like they saw them, and it was a big deal. So they tried to keep a low profile. But to give you an idea, like the public did not give an iota of information to these Rangers or the FBI or anybody who was tracking them down. They're very tight-lipped about it because they liked what they were doing, taking from the banks. Nobody liked the banks. Nobody trusted banks. And so they saw it as a good thing at that time. They would literally drive around. They'd make a loop kind of a thing and steal as they went along the way and, murder cops. And as they came across them on the road, they would literally just gun them down without warning just for fun. And so this kind of documents the steps, real happenings, what happened throughout their time when they were being hunted down, every step in that direction towards their demise. And they cover it real intimately. It's really cool. I actually really appreciate it. A little bit of a slow burn, like you said, Jimmy, but I like that step-to-step, what happened, how they came to the conclusion and tracked them down in Louisiana eventually.
Yeah.
And these two Texas Rangers played by Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson. I know you said that you didn't find their performance all that compelling. I feel like I disagree a little bit. I understand how you mean. You think, what did you say? Harrelson was maybe phoning in a little bit.
No, I think Costner was. I think Costner could just be like, I'm just talking. And that's like when he got angry at that one guy at the gas station, I was like, okay, first off, this dude's huge. And he's just like going to go punch this guy and like throw him down.
That's
and be like,
true.
You got listen. I was like, but Woody Harrelson, I always feel like he wants to be there.
But he didn't expect a cop to turn on him like that, right?
That's true.
So,
yeah.
I give it to him. I thought it was a real good performance. I think I liked Harrelson's character a little more. He's a little bit more, you don't expect him to be the way he is with his introduction. I thought he would be more of the gruff guy, but Costner ends up being that, but he's a little bit more battle hardened, I guess I would say. And they go into a backstory of how he came to be who he is and how he became a Texas Ranger and him and Harrelson's backstory. I forget their real names in the movie, but they were historically accurate and all that. They don't make it that's not the point of the movie. It's not like, here's your characters' names. They're going to say it all the time. It's not like that's the main point. It's more so This is the story. And that's the emphasis purely. They don't go into a lot of detail on explaining things because they shouldn't have to, right? Which I can appreciate. They make you kind of follow along and think about things, who's who, what are they doing. But yeah, I mean, the FBI is kind of dealing with them, and you're out of your jurisdiction and all this. The whole time, the era, that time, it's kind of like the whole Dillinger thing. Like, what was the movie with Johnny?
Oh, Public Enemies.
Yeah. Which is a good movie in its own right. Could have been better.
Could have used a tripod. Sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, the more appealing aspect of that is that that's maybe closer to home for us because in fact, I've been to the restaurant where they had the shootout with him, Little Bohemia up in Manitowoc Waters and stuff. It's really cool. Like, I've got pictures of the bullet holes in the glass. They still keep all that stuff. It's
cool.
Really neat. It's hard to think about, and that's what I'm getting at, is this time period. These guys have like these the early Model T, no, not Model T, but, the early versions of these old Ford cars with V8s in them and stuff. I mean, they were really cool, and they're out hot rodding around on these gravel roads all over the place. I mean, making a loop all the way from Austin, Texas, up to Iowa, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, all around and back again. And we're talking like 450 miles on one night is how far Bonnie and Clyde would travel when they were hot on their heels, kind of a thing. Which to me is amazing, especially in that time period. I mean, Can you imagine that even today? You're doing 450 miles. Nope. Yeah, I mean, you can do it. I've done a trip like that, 600 miles in a day, but it's back then. I mean, you're moving at a pretty good clip on horrible roads in an old car. But yeah, I mean, it's brutal too. I mean, the whole shooting cops in the street and stuff, like, it's insane. And they really get through to the point, this is what they did, and kind of divulging that history of Bonnie and Clyde that maybe people aren't too privy to, right?
Yeah.
I like all the interactions between other lawmen, like when they're mingling on a crime scene with the FBI and stuff. Those interactions, cool. Maybe embellish a little bit. Who knows what it was really like. And then when they finally get back, they trace them all the way up to Iowa, then back down to Texas again, where Bonnie and Clyde's, I think Clyde's parents lived, right? They have a conversation. Costner has a conversation with Clyde's dad. That's kind of neat. And, Clyde's dad is essentially like, I know how this ends. And then he understands how wrong it is, what his son's doing and everything. He kind of tells him, just end it. Just end it. I know how this ends, but just end it. It's horrible for her family, whatever. He's kind of got a right mind about it, right? Yeah, needless to say, so they're showing how they're putting together all these clues and everything, and they divulge, okay, they're going to they plan to meet up with one of their gang members, because they did have a bit of a gang or cohorts, and they know that the one guy's out and he's down in Louisiana. That's where his parents live or his dad lives. So they track him down there. And there's real kind of like sketchy moments. Like, you think one of them is going to die. If you're not familiar with the history, you think one of these guys is going down. And they have you thinking that right up until the shootout. But anywho, kind of interesting to see how they plot, how they're going to catch them, and think, oh, they'll just slip through the cracks again, right? Well, so they set up this roadblock. It's the one gang member's dad. He's changing a tire on the road, and they roll up the offer to help because Clyde has a good relationship with him, whatever. And they've got an ambush set up in the ditches, and they're all armed to the gills, right? And
spoiler alert for the
Joe's
like, I'm gonna go point by point to the entire film here,
dude. Yeah, but it's so interesting. I guess I want to give the synopsis. Me talking about it doesn't give it justice. It is worth a watch. It's not a waste of your time. Bit of a slow burn, but if you have the patience for it, it's a more, it's not a high action film. It's more of an adultish film. You sit back and kind of analyze it a bit. Yeah, I mean, spoiler alert, boom. He stops, does exactly as they expect, offer to change the tire, and they pop out of the ditch on him. Costner walks out and says, stick him up, and gives him the chance to surrender, but immediately sees him reaching for a gun in the center at the floor, and they light him up. And they just riddle the car with bullets. I mean, they even show the bodies of Bonnie and Clyde with the bullet holes in them and everything. It's really kind of grotesque, but very real. And it's kind of a lackluster ending. I didn't know how it ended. I thought it'd be more of a shootout, like in a house or something, kind of interesting. And like, oh God, will they, won't they? It's just straight up, they bust out every bullet they have in their pockets and light them up. And it's impactful and whatnot. And, it's the end of kind of a tyranny, so to speak. I mean, they've killed a lot of people. And, Costner has a moment where he talks about they killed a cop, and that cop's family is going to be on the soup line by tomorrow afternoon, And, I mean, it's true. At that time, I mean, you lose an income, boom, it's done. And so it was interesting. And then to give you an idea, full circle, how the public was so supportive of them and everything. They towed the car through the streets of Austin or whatever, bringing it back. And everybody, the entire city is just mobbing around this car. They're like reaching in the windows, trying to get like a lock of her hair, and they're trying to touch the bodies and stuff. It's insane. And so they go into the credits, and I guess not quite credits, but they go through the slideshow of like the history. They have like very old film of what happened, like the street towing the vehicle through. They have a little bit of video of that on old film, and then a lot of photos. And it's very accurate to the T. I mean, I think the car was even the same. They showed the bullet-riddled vehicle and everything. And they give you a little information on, I think it was like 25,000 attended Bonnie's funeral, and I think 19,000 attended Clyde's or something like that, just at that location and whatnot. And to give you an idea of the support. And at that time, there's few and far in between. I mean, that was a lot of people back then. And so, yeah, then they go through a slideshow. They show, who the Texas Rangers were and everything, and just kind of pinpoint that for you to bring it to home and show that it was historically accurate, which I appreciate. It was really cool. I learned a little bit, and it's worth a watch. I think it's good acting. It's high caliber stuff. Slow burn, but worth your time. So, yeah. Long-winded. Jimmy, you got anything to add?
I was gonna say I like the fact that you don't really see Bonnie and Clyde too much. Like you get like little glimpses of them. Makes them like more mysterious and kind of more like, in a sense, kind of like Scar we were talking about before, but kind of like not magical, but there's something where you're like, there's something like around them, like never getting to really see their faces super well.
Or you a more ominous deal, or
there's a mystique. And exactly. I respect that, because that's, people were just obsessed with them. And at the time, it's like they're real life bandits that people were like, oh, cool, you're like a Robin Hood, but you're like, yeah, if Robin Hood started just freaking shooting every cop, like you're like, it's like, are these guys really that good? But yeah, and then also like dealing with, there's one guy who worked for the Austin, the police, or he was one of the Rangers, and he knew both of them growing up, but he knew Bonnie growing up, and he's like, yeah, she was just this nice, girl
he was a local deputy.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, she served me food at the local diner, and then like after he kind of saw,
thing you ever did see,
after he kind of saw what she was capable of, and Costner's character is kind of like, yeah, this is not just the cute little girl that you knew back at the diner. So you got to remember that. So the next time she tries to run a roadblock, don't be like, oh yeah, I know her, she's not that bad. And it's like, no, she's killing.
Not the same person you knew. Don't hesitate to pull the trigger next time, yada, yada. Yeah. And he was always wondering at the end if he would, and that sort of thing. Kind of saying, you better follow through on this.
He did. Wasn't he one that shot at them? I think
he was with them because he had to give the positive identification. In fact, he had the binoculars in the blind.
Yeah,
and he was spotting them as they were driving up to confirm, and he did. And he was one of the shooters as well. So but at this point, today, I mean, that could never happen. I mean, they get found pretty quickly with all of our technology and everything. But back then, it was like, at this point, they had killed so many cops, they were going to be death row anyway, and they just decided no more casualties. Boom, they're going down. But at the end, so they give you that little backstory about how Costner became a ranger, and then when he was a ranger, he went down to take care of. There was this problem with some gangsters held up in this town, and they kept killing deputies and lawmen trying to go in and wrangle them. And I think they were Mexican or something like that. And Harrelson kind of narrates this to the group of deputies at the table before the ambush day at a card game, and he's telling them the story, and Costner's out the window on the porch listening. And it's a really cool moment. It's kind of neat, but he talks about it and how it impacted them, and they're all kind of scarred from the experience, I guess. And every time they go into this camp to root them out, so to speak, they would yell some Spanish word for hands in the air or surrender. And it never worked. They'd always get gunned down, and they'd lose some guys, and they'd have to retreat and come back again. Costner shows up to help the situation, pointed by some person or whatever, and he leads the group. He says, this time we're going in the dark, and nobody say a damn thing. And they go in and they slaughtered the entire village of bandits. And Harrelson talks about he was young at the time, and he was shaky during the experience. It was kind of a big deal, and they were killing, I think he said 60-some men. And he heard a noise in the cactuses nearby, and a mule walks out, and he shoots the guy right off the mule, and he looks, and it's some young kid that was trying to run away. And so he's kind of scarred from that experience, and it gives you a little info on that. But that word that they yelled, what was it? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was something, and they say it later on too, and they say it after they shot all the bandits.
After they give Bonnie and Clyde a chance to surrender, I think they shoot him up, and Costner says it.
Does Woody Harrelson say it? Because he also is like, yeah, we said it after we killed all those bandits that one time too, because it was like, we'll say it, but we'll say it after we've shot them all. And then they're like, all right, hands up, you sons of bitches, or whatever, like something like that.
I think Harrelson might have said it as he walked out of the blind.
Somebody,
It was kind of like a little tie-in and kind of interesting. This was like their last hurrah. They're kind of on their last legs as Rangers. This was their one time to reinstate themselves and get something done. Sure. And the whole thing's kind of like, do we still have what it takes kind of a thing, because they're kind of infamous Rangers, I guess. People know who they are, kind of all around. Lawmen know who they are. So, yeah, overall, I mean, it was just a good experience. I really liked it. It was kind of captivating to me. So, I mean, if I had to give it a score, Jimmy, I know you're going to ask. Being that's a slow burn, and it's not like it's a super entertaining thing. It's more of a like just kind of gripping story. I'm not going to give it like a perfect 10 or anything outrageous, but I'm going to say it's a strong 8, 7.5, 8. I'd say an 8.
Yeah,
because it's a true story, and it was really well done. I give it a strong 8, maybe even a little more, but it is just purely worth a watch. Check it out. Sorry that was long-winded, but
it's like you had to get it off your chest, and I didn't want to stop.
Yeah,
it's all right. Sorry, and Wine Country's like a 2 out of 10. There you go.
Yeah,
sorry, everybody.
1.5, I give it.
No, I don't know. I'll save that for something else. Josh, yeah. But yeah, okay, cool. Thank you for that.
My longest Timekillers ever, right?
No, I don't know. It's run back to it. You have to I bet someone could tell you that there's one that was longer. We'll just move briefly into this last segment on the show, community feedback and questions. Timestamps go here. But the question this week, gentlemen, is this. Missile Mage asks us over on our Discord. He says, if you got offered a part in one of Marvel's TV shows, which would you choose to appear in and why? Levi, I want to start with you here. You get offered a role in Kevin Feige comes out. He's like, hey, Levi, you want to be in one of these talking TV shows? You get to be whatever you want to be. What you want to be? What would you
talking do? TV shows?
Yeah, because it's not a talking picture. Because he's you see what I did there?
Can you give us a rundown? What are the TV show options?
So right now we've got Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We also have WandaVision. Okay, but like, who would you be in WandaVision? You can't.
Doctor Strange.
You can't.
I'd be the Vision.
Good. This
spirals disconnected.
Levi is Doctor. Okay, why would you be Doctor Strange in WandaVision?
I would be in the Adventures of Lockjaw.
Not an option yet, but hopefully eventually. That's the one I'm looking forward to most. You'd be in WandaVision. Let's face it.
Sure.
But who would you be?
I don't know.
You don't want to be Doctor Strange?
No. I'd be like Wanda's secretary. Yeah.
What do you mean Wanda's secretary? We're like, Wanda, hey, Vision's still dead. And she's like, no! Like, after the show starts, she just loses her mind. I think that's a good question, though. I don't know if he means, like, who hasn't been cast yet. Because if that's the case, then, like, you have a lot of different options to choose from in these TV shows, like, as a villain or a potential hero they haven't done yet. You know what I'm saying? Because it's those two. I thought there was a third one. There's the What If series, but that's going to be animated. Loki. Oh, the Loki TV show. That'd be fun to be in.
Is it my turn yet?
Yeah, I guess Levi's going to be Wanda's secretary. Joe, I hope you have a better answer than that. Anything will be better at this point.
I'm going to need a little assist on this one, but I definitely want to be in Loki.
Do you want to be an Asgardian?
Okay, so I've got two options. I like the concept of Loki. I think that one could be good. I don't know who I would play in there. Do I want to be an Asgardian? Do I want to be like Loki's henchman? I want to be somebody that's going to see a little action, you know? I mean, I don't want to just be the soldier standing on the sideline when he's talking to his dad.
Yeah, well, he's got the Tesseract, so he can, like, teleport anywhere in the same reality and the same, like, time. So, like, I'm trying to think of, like, if you were that, be like, oh, you could be like Beta Ray Bill, for example, who is like, he gets Stormbreaker and he's like, has Thor's power. Like, he could teleport, you know, to another planet or something like the Eternals or something like that.
Yeah, so I could really be anything, like something off the wall. So pick something cool, make it up in your own mind, I guess. But
great answer. Pick it up and figure it out at home, kids. Like,
yeah. I want to see in the comments below, who would I be?
Yeah,
I would be Heimdall's younger brother, who was there before him.
Lodal.
Lodal. Heimdall's older brother.
Jesus Christ.
Heimdall. Everybody loved Heimdall in the family.
I sound like some sort of offshoot of My Doll for women's crafts or something.
Oh boy.
So good. I just loved it. Like, Heimdall was the chosen of the family because he could see all the souls of the universe. Lodal was not as loved because he could tell every time that someone needed to trim their toenails. Like,
he had his hands in the pharmaceutical company's pockets and name all your pharmaceuticals after me, Lodal. No, but in all reality, I think my number one pick, I would be in the Falcon in the Winter Soldier movie. I would be a Russian super killing machine that had been adapted to combat the Winter Soldier and bring him home.
Dang, that'd be cool. That's a good pick. So you'd be working for Zemo or something. Yeah, I'd want to be in that show too, I think. But if you're going to do that, I feel like I need to pick Hawkeye. I will probably just be a bow-wielding adversary for him, just like Arrow was, and I want to be able to say at some point that you failed the city. So,
and tell DC property, and there would be a lawsuit immediately.
Yeah, but like it would be the person he trains, Kate Bishop, would be the one who puts me down. You know, it'd be something like that. I don't know. I think the Hawkeye show is going to be kind of cool. Like, I'm excited for them to get to flesh out that character a little bit more.
How are these things working? So obviously the Loki one is like post all the Marvel happenings.
No, it's
pre all the Marvel happenings while he had the Tesseract, kind of that in between moment.
Yeah. Okay. He's got like a couple of years, like 5 years or 10 years or something to work with.
Weird. So the Winter Soldier Falcon one is going to be
post Endgame. WandaVision's post Endgame. Hawkeye's post Endgame.
Yeah, so Hawkeye gets his family back and decides, you know what, I'm not done killing bad guys.
He's going to train someone to do it instead. He's training his pupil, his protege, so he doesn't have to do it anymore. So he can just be a farmer. He just wants to be on the farm, wants to be tilling the fields and all that, man. He's got a family.
I don't think it's going to be the most compelling of all of them. I apologize, but
we'll see. I don't know if it's going to be the most compelling, but I think it could be interesting. I think
the Loki one, WandaVision. Okay, well, I'm naming 3 out of the 4 for crying out loud.
There you go. Yeah, great question though. Thank you for sending it in. I'm excited to see Levi portray the role of Wanda's secretary, which could very well happen. I mean, at this
you've
point,
made a big mistake, Vision. Huge.
Wanda, you don't even need him. You could make your own Android.
I'm getting a lot of laughs out tonight, guys. Thank
I'm
you.
glad. Yeah, no, that's fine. Thank you, Mr. Mage, for sending that in. If you guys ever have a question or a topic for the show for us to cover, please just tweet the hashtag Critical Podcast to any of us. You can tweet at Go Critical, capital G, capital C, over on Twitter, or at me personally. I'm at JimmyGood013. Send me some funny gifs all the time. I need your funny gifs. I need them. Joe, if they want to tweet at you, where can they find you?
At Lever_627. That's Lever, just like Beaver, only with an L. And Levi, if they want to hit you up.
That's Levi Fletcher.
Exactly. Perfect. Just like that. And this week's hashtag will be hashtag be prepared, because apparently a lot of people hate Lion King. I just want to know if there's anybody out there who really enjoyed it. Apparently it's made like $1 billion.
Be prepared to be let down.
Be prepared to be let down. That you can do that whole hashtag if you want to. I don't care. If you want to support us, you can hang out with us over on Twitch. You can go buy something from our Spreadshirt shop, or you can donate to us over on patreon.com/criticalreviews. That'd be great. Or just share us with a friend. Honestly, just do that last one.
You got some nice hats on that shop, eh? I got one on my hat rack.
You can buy a thing. You can buy a sweatshirt. Katie got a sweatshirt. But I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for chilling with us as we review Lion King, Wine Country, and the Highwaymen. An interesting trio of things, and talked about Monster Hunter.
The only good one of the bunch was apparently Highwaymen.
Yeah, I guess so.
I gave you the whole synopsis during Timekillers, so go watch the movie first. But if you made it to this point and I'm warning you now, you've already listened, so it's too late. You'll still enjoy it.
Timestamps. Maybe somebody skipped around accidentally. But yes. But thank you to everybody who's been supporting us in various ways. We really do appreciate it. And love and hugs to all of you. And until next week, just remember to adapt and overcome.